Not all bear attacks resemble each other. All of them are terrifying, but some of them are baffling. The kind of stories that make you go silent for a bit to try and take it all in. In this video, we'll tell the story of David Lertzman, a 59-year-old professor who had a fateful encounter with a grizzly bear out in the Canadian wilderness. The University of Calgary professor loved the outdoors. As a result, he went trail running twice a day. It was his way of keeping his connection with nature alive. A deeply spiritual man, Lertzman respected nature and found strength in it. In a video he posted online only days before, on April 21st, Lertzman shared with his community some of the reasons why he enjoyed the outdoors so much. Standing in a snow-covered forest on the eastern slopes of the Rocky Mountains in southern Alberta, the man greeted his friends. "This is my temple. It's the dojo," Lertzman said, filming himself in the trees around him. Folks, if you have a dream, if you have the drive, the determination, sincere questing spirit, fierceness, and the humility, this is the place to do it, the man continued. For David Lertzman, nature was just about everything. Once Canmore residents, Lertzman and his wife Sarah now lived in Waiparis, a village in Alberta, Canada. Waiparis is one of Alberta's 51 summer villages. As a rule, summer villages usually have only about 300 permanent inhabitants. But there are other seasonal inhabitants, people who own homes in the area but don't live there year-round. In 2021, according to the Census of Population, there were only 57 people living in Waiparis. To outdoor enthusiasts, the village is a paradise. It's nature at its peak, but there are also multiple activities for humans. Camping, fishing, hiking, and OHV riding are only some of the activities to be done out there. Still, people are advised to be mindful of their surroundings. There are wild animals best left alone and unprovoked. There are plenty of bears in the area, both grizzly and black bears. And spring is dangerous out there. That's when bears start waking up from hibernation, and that's when their search for food begins, though they're more active during summer. It wouldn't be a stretch to say David Lertzman knew all about Waiparis and its wildlife, but that day was different. On the 4th of May 2021, the University of Calgary professor left his home to go on his usual trail run. He never returned home. Lertzman was in good shape. Even more, he knew how to deal with nature. Lertzman, who at that point had been a professor at UFC's Haskayne School of Business since 2000, also led a wilderness retreat. He'd done so since 2004. The retreat was described as a week-long leadership immersive experience in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains that has been transformational for many Haskayne School of Business students. Lertzman took it as an opportunity to help his students clarify their core values, sense of purpose, and call to service as leaders by employing different techniques. Academic material was seconded by meditation, and Lertzman also taught his students how to use their senses to navigate. In fact, Lertzman had a wilderness retreat scheduled for this week. In other words, he was far from inexperienced when it came to outdoor adventures, and his daily run wasn't even an adventure. Lertzman usually didn't go too far from his home in Waiparis, where he lived with his wife Sarah and their children. At one point during his evening run, David Lertzman came upon a bear, and then something almost unbelievable happened. Something that had to do with misfortune, a particular kind of misfortune that we usually call wrong place, wrong time. Running outdoors is healthy, but it could also possibly lead to some unfortunate situations. If you know anything about bears, you might also know that taking them by surprise is a big no. And that's what Lertzman probably did. He stumbled upon the grizzly, which scared the animal. The grizzly retaliated. It attacked. But it wasn't what one would call a usual attack. The grizzly didn't maul Lertzman. Instead, the bear attacked him from behind. The animal came running at the man and pushed Lertzman over a steep embankment. The man plummeted to the ground over 980 feet below. David Lertzman died instantaneously. Just like that, he disappeared from this world. It was getting late. Sarah Lertzman started to worry about her husband. Where was he? He should have been back home from his run by now. Worried that her husband might need help, Sarah set out to find him. It was already dark outside, but this fact didn't deter the woman. She searched, and then she searched again. She even walked right past the point of the attack. But there was no way for Sarah to know that. Her husband wasn't there. His body was lying down below, somewhere near Waipress Creek. Even more, Sarah Lertzman didn't set out to find the scene of an attack. She set out to find and help a man in trouble. When it became clear to her that she couldn't find David on her own, Sarah Lertzman called for help. RCMP Police Dog Services and the Calgary Police Service Helicopter Airwatch for Community Safety helped with the search. It wasn't until later that night, or early morning on Wednesday, that David Lertzman's body was found. Officials closed the area and began their investigation. It quickly became obvious that Lertzman's death was caused by a bear attack. Even more, the man's wounds indicated that his death had been instantaneous, meaning he suffered very little. This came as a great relief to David's wife, Sarah. It was very important for her to know David's last moments hadn't been filled with terror and pain. Even more, Sarah knew she was lucky to be alive, as plenty of officers told her that night. When her husband's body was found, Sarah cradled him in her arms and spent some time talking and singing to him. David Lertzman was a great musician and a gifted singer. Sarah made sure to sing some of the songs David himself had written. Being a spiritual being herself, Sarah wrote on an online post that she and her close ones were able to feel David transition fully to spirit between 3:30 and 5 that morning. Even more, she said they also felt the bear spirit transition. It was as if they were wrapped around each other, the woman wrote. But things weren't that simple to the authorities. They had to find the animal and decide what was to be done with it. At first, there were plenty of questions. Was it a male bear? Was it a female bear with cubs? And what was the appropriate course of action? Fish and wildlife officials determined the bear was a mature female grizzly, according to a communications advisor with Alberta Justice and Solicitor General. Though it wasn't known whether the female grizzly had cubs, evidence suggested there was a single bear involved in the attack. Evidence also seemed to suggest that it hadn't been a predatory attack. The area remained closed, and officers decided to set up traps in order to catch the animal. Almost 3 weeks after the attack, officers decided to scale back the hunt for the grizzly that killed Lertzman. None of the traps managed to catch the female grizzly before she fled the area. Still, officers decided to keep the area closed for a while longer, hoping to catch the bear. A GoFundMe page was set up to help the family. David was survived by his wife Sarah and their 2 children, aged 9 and 5. The GoFundMe page said, "He changed so many of our lives, inspired us to be better, to stand taller, and take care of one another." All those who knew David Lertzman were devastated by the news.